Okay, and we return. Here we are at 6K in the family key of Flora of the Pacific Northwest. Subgroup 6K, herbs with simple leaves, flowers with a calyx and a gamelpet corolla, ovary superior. And remember that gamelpet corolla meant that we have a little corolla here that is all fused into one. So our petals are all the same, but we have a distinct calyx. When we looked inside the flower here, we were able to see a very distinct set of sepals. Let's see if I can focus on that. Apology for the blurry image. There you go. So you can see those distinct pointy little bracts inside the flowers. We count 5 around each flower. So now we're on to our next key couplets. The first one here is going to ask us about the carpals, which is a complex concept related to how many cells we have inside the ovary. And this is a very difficult thing to key out, and I'd like to save this for a later lecture. So what I'd like to tell you is that when you get to something like this that is very hard to see, you can go with other parts of the couplet often that will tell you where to go. The carpals are something that are going to be really hard to key out in here, but we see the stamens here generally twice as many as the corolla lobes. And you'll remember that we could see the stamen here just a little bit. So we could go through and count those. So far I'm seeing 4. But we could also read the rest of that key, and you'll see that the rest of that key says plants succulent. And we do not like that. This is not a succulent plant, and in fact that's keying out to the Lamiaceae, which are all succulents. Those are the sedums. So we're going to go with carpals generally 1 to 3, and if greater than 3, then fully fused into a compound ovary, stamens diverse. Let me adjust the book here. Okay. Ovary 2-celled, 4-lobed, generally becoming 4-celled and 4-seeded, fruit 4, hardened 1-seeded nutlets. Plants mostly either opposite-leaved with 4 angled stems or harshly pubescent. Now, one thing that you may have noticed on this stem right away is that this stem is very clearly 4-angled. Let's see if we can zoom in on that. See those tight corners? This is a family that is known for having square stems, and so we know that we're matching that description generally. Okay. 2B would say other things about the plant, and I'm going to tell you that we match here. It turns out if we look at our ovary, we will see a 4-celled ovary, much like is shown here in the picture for this. And it's helpful that the rest of the couplet matches pretty well. So we're going to go with 2A, and then we get to go 3A and 3B. The first one says style wanting. The stigma expanded and often as wide as a shallowly lobed ovary. Plants glabrous, flowers in helicoid cymes. Well, I'm glad for the later part of that couplet, because I'm kind of resisting digging in and dissecting that ovary for as long as I can, because it's just so tiny in there. But there are other things here that I don't like about that particular couplet for this plant. And one of them is that this plant does have some hairs on it. Let's see if I can get a good image of that on the leaf. You can see some hairs on that leaf. Hopefully on your specimen you can see them. On mine they're pretty clear. And so I know that I don't necessarily like plants glab, which means plants glabrous or lacking hairs. I also don't like flowers in helicoid cymes. A helicoid cyme is kind of a circular inflorescence, a scorpion-like inflorescence, and this plant doesn't have that. So no, we don't like that. 3B, we're going to have to take their word for it that the style is elongate and slender. without looking in that flower and finding the style, though we could be doing that too, and we probably should. Now we get into some difficult territory because now, again, it wants us to see if the style is deeply cleft. Plants dichotomously branched, prostate annuals with fasciculate leaves. Okay, $10 word, we have to look up fasciculate. And here we have to look at the style and see if it's too cleft. Or is the style entire or minutely lobed at the top, plants not as above? So, if you have one of these flowers nearby, what I'd like you to do now is take a quick look and see if you can pull off one of those flowers, dissect it, and see if you can find the remaining style. Now, the way that I do this is to reach in, pull off one of these guys, like you saw me do earlier, hopefully. Peer inside there. And in fact, I can just barely make out the 1, 2, 3, 4 nutlets. See that at the very center? They're dark green, or they're light green, right at the center of those 5 sepals. What I'm not finding as easily is our style. So, I have my 4 nutlets, but not the style. Now, what happened to it? It turns out that if we dissect this more, we have to go with style entire or minutely lobed at the tip. Plants not as above. If you can't see this on your plant, one thing to know about a technical key that can be helpful is that if you can't find an individual style on your plant, or you can't figure out how to do this, what you can do is follow the lead to this family and see if that family works for you. You should find that no, it won't work for you and you'll have to come back. But generally it's fine to follow a lead, see if it works, and then come back if it doesn't work for you. Okay. For now, let's go with 4B, and we get another question about our style. The style is terminal on nutlets, stamens 4 or 5 included, leaves opposite, flowers and terminal bracteate spikes. I liked all of that until I got to the terminal bracteate spikes. Our flowers almost seem like they are in leaf axils, and our leaves continue all the way up the stem. So we can't call these terminal bracteate spikes quite. Style subbasal on nutlets, stamens 2, 4, or 5. Okay, so we can still have 4 or 5 stamens. Makes you wonder why they put it here. Included or exerted, leaves alternate or opposite, inflorescence diverse. Well, there we go. 6A and 6B, leaves mostly alternate with fruit calyx strongly compressed, stems terete. Okay, so we have some more words that we would have to look up there. Terete means more or less round, and corolla radially, like a wheel, occasionally bilaterally. That's why this is in parentheses, symmetric. Whew, okay. Inflorescence branches often helicoid, like in a scorpioid cyme or in a circle. Okay, so we don't like that one so much. Leaves opposite, that's what we had. Stems often square, oh, we like that. Fruit calyx not strongly compressed. Corolla weakly to strongly bilaterally symmetric, that matches. Stamens 2 or 4, we thought we counted 4. And inflorescence branches not helicoid, plants often aromatic. So then the last thing you can do is give it a sniff and whoo, yep, that one smells pretty bright. There we have our final family. We've arrived at the Lamiaceae, or the mint family, and it's on page 475. So that's your tour of the family key. You'll see there are a number of places there where you can have pitfalls, little words that are hard to that can be hard to key out. You're going to use the glossary a lot, your abbreviation index a lot, and just take your time with it and practice as often as you can. It's very helpful to take a plant that you already know. In this case, this is a plant that's commonly found in our area, and so I already know what it is. It's very nice to be able to key that out because you can help learn how to use the key by keying a known. You have some idea of where you're supposed to go and help the key get you there. That way, when you have a complete unknown, you'll know better how to use the key. That's it for now.